Experimental Unit Clone Force 99. They call themselves the Bad Batch.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars has proven surprisingly resilient for a series that was technically canceled in 2013, having given us a shorter 6th season dubbed Clone Wars: The Lost Missions in 2014, spin-off comics and novels, and even some extra closure in the follow-up series Star Wars Rebels. But now, The Clone Wars is back for a 7th and final season, and the series immediately finds its groove despite being off the air for the better part of a decade. The Bad Batch immediately sets the tone for the final season. Even as the war draws closer to its dramatic conclusion, the Republic's clone army is feeling the strain of mounting losses and an enemy that seems to predict its every move. Many of the series' best story arcs have hinged on these clone heroes battling against overwhelming odds, so The Bad Batch feels like a great way to welcome the series back and further explore the toll of the war on those who were literally born to fight. Season 7 opens with a very different roster of clone heroes, the titular Bad Batch, a group of clones far more independent and genetically diverse than normal. While Star Wars fans might wish the series had simply dusted off the Republic Commandos for this particular storyline, this episode pretty quickly establishes why Clone Force 99 is the better option. With the premiere being so overwhelmingly clone-focused, it really helps to have characters with such distinct personalities, allowing subtle rivalries and unease to add an interesting layer to what might otherwise be a straightforward clones versus droids mission. Plus, the addition of the Bad Batch allows voice actor D. Bradley Baker to cut loose. Baker practically carries this whole episode on his shoulders given how many of the characters he voices. The series has always been surprisingly deft at differentiating the many clone characters even though they all look and sound pretty much the same. But in the case of these genetic abnormalities, they don't look the same. Their personalities are much more extreme and over the top. Even in scenes with half a dozen or more clones sharing the same space, it never feels like one voice actor is talking to himself. It's also easy to see how much the series' animation quality has improved in the 6 years since The Lost Missions. Fans may already be familiar with the Bad Batch arc given that these 4 episodes were screened in rough animatic form at Star Wars Celebration 2015 and later released online. But it's quite another thing to see the story play out in completed form with full visual effects. This still looks very much like the Clone Wars of old, but with greater sense of detail and more dramatic camera angles. The upgrades are most apparent with Anakin, who suddenly looks a lot more like his Episode 3 self. The upgrades are a welcome reminder that Clone Wars still serves as the gold standard for Star Wars animation. While a worthy sequel in many ways, Rebels always suffered because of its comparatively stiff characters and barren, sterile environments. There's much more detail and energy in this Clone Wars episode, which bodes well as we slowly march toward the long-awaited Siege of Mandalore arc. Clone Wars may have been off the air for years, but the series quickly and capably welcomes fans back into the fold in its Season 7 premiere. The Bad Batch establishes a grim tone for the final season, yet also manages to keep things from becoming too bleak thanks to the wacky members of Clone Force 99. Only time will tell if this arc has enough meat to justify the 4-episode structure, but it's off to a promising start. For more from a galaxy far, far away, check out the Star Wars Clone Wars series recap in 4 minutes and meet the mini Mandalorian. And as always, subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.